sat down. It was not. And I'm still not really that prepared.
Yeah.
Nothing changes, Cameron. This is how I operate all the time. I'm just like flying by the skin of my teeth.
Flying by the skin of your teeth?
Is that not a thing? It's pretty close.
No, that's good, man. Well, it's flying by the seat of your pants. But
yeah, we were like holding mics and stuff, and it was like
I
didn't know how to set these up because we don't use, like, obviously this is set up for a whole group of people, so I'm like, I want better quality because webcams are great when they're close to your face.
Oh yeah.
Trying to film like from far away, it does not do a good job.
It's not.
And so it was pretty janky and silly and very not chaotic but messy, if you will.
Yeah.
Just kind of bouncing all around, very conversational.
Well, I'm glad someone else got to break you in.
Yeah. Right. I was thinking about that. Like, we're all going on a journey here.
That's right.
You know, you're going to be growing with me as the podcast changes. And then I'm cracking up because this is like a reboot almost.
Yeah.
So you would think when someone comes back, it's going to be like bigger than ever, better. I'm like, no, it's the same stuff.
It's still figuring it out.
Just a different
That's
background.
Right. We never stop learning. And why make things easy when you can make them hard?
We don't learn anything.
I do it right because I do it 3 times. By the third time, you usually have it figured out.
Oh,
it's
you're good.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Or somewhat, But when you said the flying by the skin of my teeth, it reminded me of this guy I knew when I was a kid. His name was Ralph Padula.
I like that.
And he always got sayings wrong. And so he would say stuff like that all the time. He would say flying by the skin of my teeth, running like a bat on a hill, like instead of a bat out of hill, a bat out of hell. Hit the nail, instead of saying hit the nail right on the head, he'd say you hit the nail right on the ball. And
did he do it on purpose?
I mean, it didn't seem like it,
but
okay. I mean, it could have been his own like little joke to himself, and everyone else is just like, is this real? Because that's the kind of humor that I like now.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I'm like, if it's funny to me, that's all that matters.
I can't ever get them right. That's usually and maybe that's what his thing was too.
Yeah.
So the words kind of jumble out, and I'm like, well, I couldn't decide on which 2 things I was going to say, so I said both.
The sharpest knife on the tree,
Yeah. Sharpest knife in the crayon box.
Yeah.
That's a crazy one.
Yeah. Oh man, you reach in there.
Before we go too far into it, Dan.
Hey,
thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, I didn't realize we were already started. So.
Well, I don't know when exactly to start. I don't know if I'm going to have an official starting.
Start and then.
Oh yeah.
Pick the start.
Not really. I don't know. I just don't want to get so far into it that we're like, who is he talking to? Like, he hasn't once said who this guy is.
I'm a guy.
And I don't know if I did that with Ben either. So we're getting it together a little bit. But I do want to, before we get too far into it.
Yeah.
Dan Riley.
Yes.
Great man.
Oh.
You were in the very beginning.
Yeah.
You're back again.
Here I am.
Yeah. You've been up to a lot more stuff, which I hope we're going to hear about today a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. Yeah.
That's pretty much, aside from being an excellent musician and a good friend, that's all the introduction I think we need.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah.
But, you asked me how I was doing.
That's right.
Which is a lot of chaotic art stuff at all times. How are you doing?
I'm doing A-okay. Life has its ups and downs. And last year was like a really, I would consider 2024 like a year of loss for me. I lost my mother last year. Really good friend lost his son. Lost a couple pets. It was just like a lot of loss last year. And so kind of still creeping out of that, but all in all, like doing okay, handling those things well, have some creative things going on and some community building things, which is really what I'm probably most passionate about at this point. Like I love writing and performing music. I'm not a recording artist. I'm a performing artist.
Okay.
I'm kind of, I was just thinking about it yesterday. Is like how hard I'm going to lean into this. Is I do have like some recordings. I have a few recordings out there, but I kind of just don't feel like it's necessary for me because I don't. It's a lot of expense that goes into it, and a lot of time and effort that goes into recording, and I see the benefit for like posterity of preserving what I've created in that way, but also there's something beautiful about creating something and then it going away with you too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Kind of like the mandala, you know,
Yeah.
how that.
What's I gonna say? It kind of adds an intense amount of value to the moment and the thing that you're either producing, whether it's artwork or music, and that
Yeah.
exact time that you know for a fact you're never going to get again, which is
Yeah.
really interesting because it does provide a special moment that everyone kind of agrees and contributes to whenever you're in one of those kind of environments.
Yeah, and I've always talked about an exchange of energy that happens when you perform live for people. There's the, you're sharing whatever you've created with people, and then they're like absorbing it and then reacting and interacting with each other with it, and that energy is like traveling around the room and coming back to you, and it's just super cool. And you can't duplicate that with recording. Recording is fantastic. I love listening to other people's music, but the act of being in the studio and doing all the work that it takes to get to where I'm finally happy, like I'm just never happy with what it is.
I feel that.
And so it's like any other art. When I paint or draw, it's never finished. It's just like stop doing it. And that's
You get to like an
yeah,
acceptable point.
right,
Yeah.
or just a non-acceptable point. I'm like, fuck this.
Just, I never want to look at you again.
But yeah, so I've been thinking about that. But I've been working, just started a nonprofit called Community Music Collective. You did the logo for it, which is awesome.
Thanks for
everybody
me.
loves it. Yeah.
We'll display that here.
Or right here. Put it in there.
Click this link. Yeah.
But anyway, we don't have a website yet. So don't click the link. There's nothing to go to.
No
take it to
social
Instagram.
Media.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Put that in there. But so Community Music Collective is essentially an organization focused on creating community through music. And so we are doing that and have been doing that really in kind of three different ways: in performance, education, and promotion. And so like bringing people together through performance creates those energetic exchanges and really allows people to commune or come together in a way that they might not normally do. When people go to church or go to like the Elks Club or wherever it is. Yeah, I don't know what people do. Like that's probably older folks, or to like to a bar or something like that. Those are all opportunities for the people to connect and to have different types of community, and not knocking any of those. Like those all have their benefits, but I think music is kind of special in the way that any two people can sit down. It doesn't matter like who they are, what they believe, what they think, like who they voted for, what church they go to. They can sit down and enjoy music together and experience that together and have a connection that they wouldn't normally have. And so
absolutely,
I'm really passionate about providing those opportunities to create that. And so then how do we do that? Well, people have to be educated on how to play music and how to have events. And so education through excuse me, through lessons. We're going to be doing lessons like sliding scale price on the lessons too. So we'll be getting grants written to help subsidize essentially lessons for people who might not otherwise be able to afford it, but also if you can't afford it, pay full price and help support the person teaching you and the organization. And then we've done a program with Dorchester County District 2 called Songwriters in Schools. So bring songwriters into work with high school students is where we've started, and so far it went really well. They were really happy with it. The folks over at Dorchester District 2, and so we're planning on doing more of that and getting that set up. So more education for students, particularly based around songwriting. I'm passionate about songwriting because it's been an outlet for me since I was like about 13 years old. Started writing, and just a really relatively healthy way of expressing your emotions and how you feel about things without causing too much damage, typically.
Yeah, typically. Yeah.
I mean, you can definitely cause damage with a song, but
absolutely. I mean, some people make their entire career out of
that's true.
causing damage.
Yeah, but yeah. So that's kind of the education piece, is having lessons, working in the schools with students, also teaching things like recording and production, and having workshops for people who play music that don't really know a lot about the business side of it. So whether it's booking gigs, making contacts, finding, opportunities and things like that. How can you do that? So we'll be having workshops around that. Friend of mine, Danielle Howell, she's a really good songwriter. She's been playing around here, Charleston, for like 30 years. She's yeah, she's a legend. She goes way back. And but she does a really cool thing called songwriting trails. And so that's another thing. Like, she sets up these trails that essentially have stations along the way with writing prompts. And so you get to like one I went to was it was set in a swamp. And so you're walking through the swamp, and then there's like a chair, and it's in front of a tree, or in front of a plant, or in front of like this little gully or something. And she'll have a writing prompt there for you, something that she thought of or was inspired by when she was in that area. And it might have nothing to do with what you're looking at, but
I like that. That's really creative.
So yeah, it's a really cool way to get inspiration and kind of just get out of your own mind of like how you normally think of things. And so she does those. And so we'll be working on setting up more of those songwriting trails cool. As well. So that should be really cool. I think people, and even people who've never written a song, it's a good opportunity to just like, well, maybe this will give me some ideas and give me some direction as to where to go. So
sometimes you really have to work hard for that. Like, keep the creative juices fresh.
Yeah.
Enough to where you enjoy what you're doing.
No,
like being forced to do it.
Exactly. And sometimes, we're just so freaking busy and distracted. Like, when we're not busy, we're distracting ourselves or numbing ourselves with something, whether it's food or drink or weed or whatever.
You get your hands on.
Yeah.
Mindless Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix, TikTok, like just so much numbing going on. And so it's really cool to have like a space, I think, or opportunity to slow down and just be in that space for a minute without the busyness and the distraction. And so I think that's another cool aspect of it. But so that's, performance education. Also, performance, I host the Edisto Blackwater Boogie, which is a music festival that happens in the fall. And then also we started a songwriter festival called the Southern Songwriter Festival. So that happens in September, right in downtown Somerville. Mm-hmm. And so those are performance opportunities. Like at the Songwriter Festival, the last 2 years, we've had over 40 songwriters perform in 3 days.
Whoa.
And so just providing opportunity for people locally and regionally who are writing, who are trying to get in front of people, so to share their hearts basically, and providing that opportunity to do so is really cool. And then the boogie provides an opportunity more for bands. We also have opportunity for songwriters there, but it's really more band focused and provides a lot of opportunity for local bands. And so it feels good to be able to give people that opportunity to to be able to perform. They get paid for doing it too, which they should because they're
Whoa.
artists. Yeah,
That's
it's not.
crazy.
Yeah, believe it or not,
I know.
artists need money too. I mean, we're still just a baby nonprofit, so we don't pay a lot, but guess what? No venue in Charleston pays a lot. It just don't. So
we just dropped the mic right there.
Right? Yeah.
It's even as like a little bit shows at least some kind of value. It's like, hey, I don't know, if you're pursuing a passion of yours and you're really trying to give it your all and a lot of focus, getting any kind of like payment helps justify like your drive, even
Right.
if it's not a lot. Like in the beginning when I was doing artwork, like the most silliest like commission that I would get hired for, it was like maybe $20.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I can't believe I'm getting paid.
I know, to do this thing that I already want to do.
Yeah. So it really helps, feed into people's passions, which I think
that's
is
a good point.
Very important.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then the last piece of what we're doing really is just the promotion piece, and it's kind of weird to put that next to like performance. It feels kind of weird to put it next to performance and education, but promotion, none of it, like nothing happens without like you can't have events without promotion. And so promoting the arts, promoting events, promoting songwriters and bands, and so that aspect of it is how we support the artistic community, the music community, is through these events and through promotion and providing opportunity for those who are students to eventually grow and see like, hey, I could do this, like I could do this if I want to one day. Mm-hmm. And so like I mean, there's not a lot of money in art or music for the average person. It's a lot of work, and I have some good friends that is their livelihood. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, working musicians, like, they work their butts off.
Oh yeah.
They're hustling, they're playing. Like, I know some guys that play like 10 gigs a week.
That's insane.
Saturday and Sunday they'll do 2 or 3 gigs.
Oh,
and yeah, and they'll do back to back. They'll do 3 hours. They'll do 9 hours on a Saturday and on a Sunday and start with brunch at 10 a.m. and finish at midnight with their last gig. And so I have so much respect for those guys, and it's not like I'm not one of them. I pay the bills other ways, and I have a family, so it just wouldn't work. Life wouldn't work for me. But I do, like I said, I love making music and creating it, playing it. But I think this all started back at the recording of it, and yeah, maybe I do have something that I'm working on right now, but I think my recordings are just going to be really few and far between. So
I feel you.
Yeah, but anyway, Community Music Collective. Yeah, if anyone whoever's watching this, hey guys, how you doing? Yeah, you should check out Community Music Collective. Support us. Come be a part of it. Be part of the community. There's so much love in this world.
Yeah.
And I think we need to share that and connect more now than ever. And let me ask you a question. You're the one doing the interview, but I'd like to get your thoughts on this. It's not
really an interview, but
or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, it kind of is. It's a conversation. But so, all right. I'm making an effort not to be political here because I don't need to be, but the social media, mm-hmm. and when it comes to art, there's very little you can do to promote yourself outside of social media, other than the old-fashioned way. Like, and that's kind of where I'm going with this is like, social media, we know that the majority of it and the ones that are effective are owned by like some pretty powerful, manipulative people that are taking our information and basically building maps of our brain so they can sell us stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's essentially what it's all about.
It's been proven. So yeah.
Yeah. And so like I I was just on it before I got here. Like if I'm honest, like I'm probably addicted like most of us are at this point.
Yeah.
But like do you think as an artist that we can there's a way to break that cycle and of promotion through social media
Oh.
and make it be as successful as you'd like to be, or be able to essentially like when you like for you a lot of what you do you're getting paid for, so that goes to supporting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that it's possible to do it without social media?
In the world of social media, in a smaller town, I would say, like your success hinges upon your level of living, I suppose. Like if you can live small on a small
Yeah,
plot of land,
live
and let's
simply.
say like
Yeah,
you have a small gallery or something, or you work with a town exclusively, like you're the main artist or something like that, and you're kind of well known in a really small environment, I would say you could pull that off.
yeah,
But you're going to be swept away in the world outside of that area because of social media.
right,
And the problem isn't like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's not like social media makes you successful, because
right,
you have to be good and understand what you're doing
and
on there.
consistent.
Yeah.
And there's so much that goes into it.
Yeah.
It's
Now,
not like you just
I will
plug in and
say
it's
there's a good chance that the person who doesn't go on social media will have more personalized and better work. Because I think the influence on social media kind of like deadens our individuality a bit. Like
yeah,
when I'm scrolling and I'm into like a doom scroll, I don't get inspired when I see really creative work or beautiful paintings or something. I appreciate it,
yeah,
but it doesn't make me put down my phone and say, I want to go create
yeah,
something magical or beautiful. Instead, it's like, oh, cool. And I just kind of give me something else.
yeah, yeah,
So, like, if you're off of it and your brain kind of has a healthier dopamine level of what you're doing,
yeah,
I think you tap in more into your own personal enjoyment, what inspires you in the real world. So, I think your work would be better, but it wouldn't really be seen by anyone.
yeah.
So, it's catch 22, I guess.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to wrap my head around it because there's a part of me that doesn't want to support a, a system that's essentially used for mind control is like the end. And I probably sounded like a.
There is a tin hat over there.
Yeah, oh yeah, I might need to get the tin hat. But I don't want to support. I don't. There's a big part of me that doesn't want to support that system and feed into like the oligarchy, essentially, like these billionaires who are making millions of dollars a minute and have employees that can't buy groceries for their family.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a part of me that doesn't want to feed that system, but at the same time, the system is there, and it's what is what is probably most effective for getting what you like, what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have a nonprofit that's important to me and that I want people to know about. Well, how do I get people to know about it? Like, do I spend every day just walking down the street talking to people? I mean,
It would work.
it would work.
Like word of
And
mouth.
probably the
Yeah.
connection would be stronger if you're meeting people face to face.
It'd be hard. Hard to take the rejection in your face would be difficult.
But I do have to work too and support my family,
yeah,
and
of course.
so I don't know. I think that a lot of artists are kind of looking at that right now, trying to figure out
Oh
how
yeah,
to
I fully get that.
how to kind of navigate things in a way that feels socially and ethically responsible, but at the same time helps them do what they need to do and what they want to do.
I
So
know. And it's like having to play the game because that's the game that we've all agreed to play.
right.
Or maybe didn't like agree to play, just kind of like got sucked into play.
Right, and didn't realize what the game was really.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
exactly. I feel like half of us talk about how much we don't enjoy being sucked into social media so much. It's a
Right.
very popular topic.
Yeah, yeah.
And everyone's like, I gotta get off of it. But it's still pumping away.
Right, yeah.
And like then there's people like me, I'm like, well, I kind of use it a lot
Yeah.
for work. So I'm like, I don't really want it to leave. But at the same time, if you gave me the opportunity to have my livable wages that I have now without social media,
Right.
I'd be all over it. Because it does help. Your brain is a bit healthier and you don't feel trapped and you can focus more on what you're creatively there to
Yeah.
do. So, but dude, I don't have a good answer. I don't know if you can get around it right now.
Yeah.
Unless you just created a whole different, like I said, local engine or some way that people can gain like attractions to your artwork, whether it's music or painting,
Yeah.
or whatever it is you're passionate about doing. Very, very, very difficult.
Yeah. Well, it's a question we
will
don't know the
continue
answer to.
ponder.
Yeah. We'll just keep thinking about it. And I think I do think though that the more effort we have to create in-person connection, the better off we'll be, and the more effort we make to attend those things, because it's so much easier to stay home
Yeah.
and like just not go out, when you could go and put yourself out there and meet some people new. And there's so much loneliness in the world, and like so much like despair based on that loneliness, and people not having that connection. And so
Yeah.
that's really what is moves me a lot. And it's not I will say it's not easy to run music festivals and start nonprofits and
No way,
like do
man.
all these things. It's not. And there have definitely been times where I'm like, I just don't think I can do it all.
Mm-hmm.
But finding like-minded people who are willing to help and work alongside me has been like super helpful and inspiring. There's so many good people out there that want to feel the connection and be connected with others and create that for others. And so
Absolutely.
I think that's where my heart is right now, is just in a world where we're buried in our phones trying to get people face to face, and do more of like, hey, turn to your neighbor and like tell them your name and say hi.
Well, it's crazy you bring that up, because tomorrow I'm meeting with a friend of mine and we're talking about being introverted. And I've been reading articles, and like there's been more of it popping around that talks about how there's such a rise in isolation lately and more people are choosing to not go out. So you're kind of like on the verge of combating a trend of more people not even trying to seek out community aspects. And it's interesting to see the mental health of society as we're being more and more introverted, essentially.
Right.
And the other night I went out to meet a friend of mine, and we went to Benny's, and I have anxiety that comes out the ass quite often. And so like social activities, even just going out to meet my friend, like when I go hang out with Richard, just driving to his house gives me anxiety.
Oh man,
I know.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry that you struggle with that.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's not so much that I struggle with it. It's more like whenever I go to leave, I'm greeted by it, and I'm like, what? That's crazy. Yeah. And then I can kind of move on past it.
Yeah.
But in certain situations, especially if I smoke right before I go, it doesn't tend to help so much.
Right. Yeah.
Until like you get there and you're like, oh yeah. But the whole entire time,
wait, can you do that one more time?
Oh yeah.
All right. Sorry. Continue.
But like when I got there, it was so nice. And
yeah.
We went to the back of Benny's in downtown Somerville. There were other people in the community kind of hanging out. It's kind of like the dim lights. It's a good vibe.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, I really needed this, and I didn't realize it's kind of like a frog in water that starts to boil. It doesn't know,
Yeah, yeah,
and like it's hard to tell how much you need that community interaction until you force yourself to kind of go out there
yeah.
and get it. So I think what you're doing is amazing
Oh, thank
because the more community stuff, the better and happier we are, and the more we can get new perspectives and communicate,
you.
which is half the work, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Thank you, man. No, and that's the thing is like it's so easy to get stuck in that not knowing portion and not doing. I mean, it's like any other thing that you're trying to accomplish in life. Things don't change unless there's an action associated that pushes that change forward. And guess what? You can't just do it one
Oh, I
time.
know.
And so like I'm a very gregarious person and
That's the
like
word.
outgoing. I'm like I've been told I think uh Rachel Mallet said that I'm like a golden retriever
Oh yeah, dude.
with a jean jacket. So
Love that.
and so and I kind of am. I was
Yeah.
just like I want to be friends with everybody. But last year with everything that I was talking about at the beginning, like I that kind of a big part of that went away. Like I didn't want to be around people. I didn't want to see people. Like fuck people for a little, like for a while. It just was not feeling it, and so um, typically, even when like I've gone through different points in my life where I've had like depression, deeper depression, like less like light depression, just a touch of it,
Diet
but
depression.
right, yeah. So and like during those times typically I've always remained like I'm not an introvert because I gain energy typically from being around other people. It doesn't drain energy from me.
Nice.
And so it's kind of gives me like a recharge being around other people. And I know for what I've heard for introverts it's kind of the opposite, but last year I was like I turned into an introvert, and like I've got like 10% introvert in me now where every so often I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna not do this.
Welcome to the club. He's like,
Right, yeah, nah.
easy
I don't
boy.
want to. I'll just stay home. But it's hard to be like really introverted when you got 4 kids and
Yeah.
and a wife at home, and it's like you're never by yourself really. But
Yeah. And your
um,
kids are not introverted.
no,
Well,
you know, Jude was a little bit, but he's come out of his
I
shell
was about
now.
to say he was the first one I thought of that wasn't. And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that
he
man's
used to be.
silly.
He is a silly boy. He is very silly. One of the things I love about him.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
He gets me laughing all the time. But yeah. So I think that we're all kind of just trying to figure out
Mhm.
how to go go through this, and there's so many like I'm obviously not the only person trying to create community. Like there's so many organizations and so many other nonprofits that are providing services that are just like essential for people, like food banks
Absolutely.
and you know, like the Children's Advocacy Center here in Somerville, which is like been helping children for in bad situations for years. And so um, it's great to see those other organizations out there and people trying to do that, and that you know brings people together, and all those bring people together in different ways. And so
Oh yeah. I think it's a good idea for the festivals that you do a lot because those are like big events that are
yeah,
easy to kind of grab people's attention.
yeah,
Kind of building up like a small, consistent community is a little bit more challenging because it's easy for people to kind of like look at it and like, oh yeah, that's great, I'll remember that, and then
yeah,
forget. Like you said,
yeah,
we're distractions everywhere.
yeah,
But big festivals, big events, it's like a oasis for people in their like lives and day jobs. It's like,
yeah,
oh, I'm going to that.
yeah,
And speaking of that, I meant to ask you,
yeah,
Edisto Blackwater Boogie.
yeah,
What year are you on now? It's like 5 or 6,
yeah.
right?
Going to this is your 6 coming
Brother,
out. Yeah,
crushing
it's
it, man.
crazy.
And this
Um,
is, all right, guys. If you don't know, this is in like a whole like state park, Givan State Park, It's a whole like section in the back. There's campsites that you can rent out to go to it. There's multiple stages. There's local vendors that you have. There's
Yeah.
food trucks. It's really cool. Really well done.
Oh, thank you,
I
man.
mean,
Yeah.
you shirts and everything.
Yeah, it's I just like essentially came up with the idea for a party that I would want to go
to. Hey, that's good. That's good.
Like, and just did
I feel
that.
Like Rick Rubin would really support you on that one.
It's like it's a party that I want, and it is pretty much every year. It's a ton of work, but I'm just like, this is how I want to do it, and I've got like, it's so hard. Like when you start doing something, no matter what it is, and you show people what you're doing or you invite people to be a part of it, there's always opinions. Oh, yeah. And most like I've got to say, like we've been so like fortunate as the boogie has grown and progressed. Like it's important to me to keep it small. Like it's never going to be like a music festival where you have to fight the crowd.
Like Tour.
Yeah, it's not going to be, or High Water last year. They got trapped in the parking lot for like 7 hours. There were people who couldn't get out until like 4 in the morning or something like that. Yeah, it was crazy. Their parking, yeah, and it was for a lot of people. And so I think it was High Water. It might have been a different one, but so it's never going to be that kind of festival. It's it's made for that community aspect and for connection. And so when you have an event with like too many people, you don't want to look at your neighbor and say hi because you're just trying to like get a beer and like it took you an hour and 50 minutes or whatever, or you're just trying to find a place that's comfortable to sit or stand, and you're like it's a whole thing. And so it's never going to be like that. It's intentionally not like that. And that like means that we're never going to have the money to hire big name bands. Like people are like, well, who's at it? I'm like, you don't know any of them. I'm pretty sure like you might know a couple of them, but most of the bands you're not going to know. But that's part of it too. It's like being open to hearing bands that you haven't heard before. And guess what? They're fucking awesome. Yeah. And you're going to be like, holy shit. Like, why are they not famous? And it's like, well, because that's about an algorithm and it's not about talent. Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
And not to knock anyone that has made it to a high, like to the highest levels of fame. Like they like essentially live their lives for what they're doing. And so
that's a good point.
That just sidetrack here. We could just go yeah. But that, the saying, he sold his soul to the devil.
Yeah.
Like that saying. Yeah. That's I thought
you were going to give me one of the dudes messed up the phrase.
Oh, no.
Sold it like a fish or something.
He sold his fish to the devil.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
That'd probably be a better deal. Probably would. Yeah. But that I've thought about that saying a good bit, and I do like people, and coming from a very Christian background myself, like I think people kind of, especially in those circles, take it more literally of like giving something of yourself to the devil, but it's really just that's whatever that thing is that they're good at, whether like it's usually to the detriment of everything else in their life. Mm-hmm. And so whatever that means, and there's people that are very successful that have pretty balanced lives and are doing well, but there's way more who are unhealthily unbalanced. Sure. And so I think that's where I was going with that, is I think that's where that saying came from. It's like when you like, if you want to be at that level, you have to expect that for a long time, there's going to be nothing else in your life that's as important as that one thing, whatever it is. Yeah. And so,
and it's not even like for a while, unless you put like moves
Yeah.
to relieve like your main effort to keep it going. It's a consistency thing. You have to continue to do it forever. So you kind of get
Right.
trapped into like really not ever getting the freedom to do whatever. Like, oh, I
Right.
have to
Yeah.
be this one person
Mm-hmm.
that I started with forever.
Yeah.
And that's that's your
And
soul.
then when people stop, it's like you Google, where are they now? You know, and
For real.
that's like
There's a picture of them like in a dumpster somewhere.
oh, no, or
Not,
they're
not
like
dead.
running a shoe store in Oklahoma or something.
Okay, I like where you went a lot better than where
Yeah,
I
I mean,
went.
the dumpster is possible too, I suppose.
Oh my god. No
But
offense to dumpster divers out there.
yeah, so circle back. The bands at the
nice.
Blackwater Boogie are good.
Yeah.
You should come check them out. And I always tell people, just if you're gonna come, just camp. Like, don't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't leave. Just come and stay. We have a bonfire.
Such a wild move to leave.
Yeah, especially if you've had any drinks, just bring a tent, bring a hammock. You can hang it between two trees. It's fine, and the campsites are super affordable. So I mean, we're way. All right, so we're way cheaper than any other festival that's out there. Like the weekend passes in the past had been $75 for a weekend pass, and camping, if you tent camp, it's between like $70 and $110 or something like that for the weekend. So it's super affordable.
Oh yeah.
Like so under 200 for camping and a ticket all weekend. But this year, I'm actually trying to lower the price of the tickets for the festival.
Going in the opposite direction from the rest of the world.
Yeah, and part of that it just has to do with accessibility because like I grew up in a pretty poor family. Like just we didn't have anything.
So, man, me too.
Like I you know, my dad was a fisherman, my mom cleaned houses like most of my life. That's what they did. We scraped by, you know. There were many a time where I heard that we were going to be losing the house, or like we didn't know how, you know, we were going to get groceries or something. We were on government assistance for a big part of my life. We had government cheese, which was actually fucking delicious. It's this big block of American cheese. It's like this long. I think it was 3 pounds.
I have never heard of this.
You didn't? It came in a cardboard box.
Well, I do have really bad memories, so there's a chance that we had that as a kid growing up. But I'm not entirely sure. I'm also lactose intolerant, so
yeah.
I probably wasn't getting that.
That government cheese was bomb, though. I'll tell you what.
It's American. That's not even lactose.
Oh, really? I don't know.
American cheese is not real cheese. It's like a lab-grown cheese flavor.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah, so lactose intolerant, you're good.
So yeah, I mean, it came in a huge block, and we had government peanut butter, which came in like a 5-gallon bucket, basically.
Ooh,
it's a big old can of peanut butter. Yeah. But anyway, so the point is, we were super poor and we couldn't afford to do shit, and like if we went to McDonald's, that was like a big treat, something like that, to go to McDonald's as a family, or what, like. So accessibility for people with less money has always been really important to me, and we've kept it. I mean, the prices where they are now are super affordable, and I don't know that how much we'll be able to lower it, but that is a goal for mine this year. Is like all these festivals keep going, the prices keep getting higher, people pay them, and like I know other festival organizers and people who do events like this, and one of the consistent things that I've heard from other people is what you need to do if you want to be successful in these events and make money is sell a VIP experience. And so that's like it's a huge thing, and people will pay for high water. I think the minimum, like the lowest level of VIP is like $900 or something. Like it's crazy. And there are people who have the money and who will spend it. And that's why they say you create the VIP experience, and that draws in the people with more money, because then they're like, oh, I can, like, they've got something for me. Which is, I mean, right. But that's kind of the antithesis of what I'm trying to do. Like, everyone's important. Guess what? I'm just as fucking important as you. In my life, I'm the most important person. Like, that, I mean, you should be the most important person in your life.
There it is.
In my kids' lives, they should be the most important person. Like, we're all
Mm-hmm.
important. And so I don't believe in like continuing this idea of like, there are people who I'm going to put up a rope, and if you could afford to pay or chose to pay extra money, you get to stand on that side of the rope.
Yep.
Like, no. Or you get to have quicker access to drinks. No, like, you're a person. We're all people. We're all important. Like, let's just chill together. And if there's a problem, if something's not right, let's put our heads together and figure out how to make it better, because we're better together. Because we're people.
We're all doing it at the same time.
Yeah. So that's something you'll never see in one of my events, is a VIP section.
Challenge that.
Okay, go ahead.
I think you should have a VIP opportunity, and I think it should be charged a little bit more money, but I think it should be a humbling experience. And they roll up, and it's just like a tent campsite in the middle of all the other tents, and there's just like a congratulations, you are a very important person, and so is everyone around you.
You paid more for nothing.
Yes, you can have the sign that says you're VIP.
What do you get with your VIP experience?
But
you get a sign that says VIP.
Yeah.
You could carry it with you if you want.
But you're just the same as everyone else,
right?
I think that'd be nice.
Make the VIP tags like super huge.
Yeah.
Well, even bigger. I'm thinking, the little real estate signs that stick in the ground.
Yeah.
You just put those on a necklace. This is VIP. So it's like, you want to be a VIP? There you go. Everybody's gonna know you're important. Congratulations.
I still feel like someone will pay for it. I mean, honestly,
yeah,
it's a different experience.
Yeah.
If anything, it'd be a good joke for somebody.
I will say, I did for my son. It's around his birthday, Oscar. He's 9, and so last year I did get some little badges for him and his friends that said VIP, so that they could go in the room and get, like, the green room and get snacks, and they could feel special for his birthday. That's awesome. So that way better. Yeah, like they're my VIPs. Like, he's my son. He's very important to me. So. Man, and he can eat the snacks.
I don't know if I had an opportunity as a kid to do stuff like that, but whenever, for the very small, short amount of time that I was in a band, anytime you get to go, like, see the behind stage stuff, is always the coolest.
Yeah.
You feel so cool. So I can only imagine how amazing it feels as a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
Just like, oh no, we'll go behind here. I got you. Got the pass.
Get the VIP pass.
Yeah. Dude, I love that. It's super exciting.
Man.
Oh, got something in my eye. It's been like tickling and like itching at the same time. I was like, don't do it.
That's not good, man.
Sorry, camera. You have to watch me gouge my eyes out.
So let's shift gears.
Okay, what you got?
Got any new tattoos coming up?
Damn it. No. Although, the other day, sorry to my tattoo artist, buddy, I got real drunk and messaged him about getting my neck tattooed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And I think, and I hope he knew that I was trashed through the messages.
Through the slur.
I can only imagine it was not well put together.
Right, yeah.
And I forgot until like a week later. And I like opened up my Instagram. I was like, what was I doing? Like, oh no. But that was in like last October. So I haven't. And I thought about it. I have too many other things that I want to spend my money on.
Yeah, they're expensive, man.
Enough money to where I will overlook the other creative, like, artistic improvements that I want to get.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want one. I have like some planned, but I have yet to make enough money to where I have tattoo money. So
yeah,
maybe one day.
Tattoo money. We'll get you a side gig. Maybe.
I have too many side gigs.
Yeah, that's the problem. Can you get paid for eating breakfast in the morning? Is there a way to do that? Something you do every day, right?
Yeah.
Probably. Like, if you could monetize eating breakfast, that's your tattoo money.
We're just going back to social media. Who
That's
wants
true.
to watch a guy eat food?
Not me. I'm
Yeah.
spitballing here, man.
Getting
I'm not
caught in
saying
my
it's a.
mustache the entire time.
Most of my ideas are not good. Every once in a while, I get a good one, and it's like, okay,
Really
that was
sink
just,
your teeth into the
yeah.
good ones.
I've got a lot of bad ideas though.
We
It's the
all do.
same with art. Like, for me, for writing songs, I write way more like shitty lyrics than good ones, but I just keep the good ones and I throw away the shitty ones mostly.
Dude, I feel that.
You know.
Sometimes when I write for my Dungeons and Dragons, I'll read it the next day. I'm like, this is awful.
Yeah.
Like, why was I stoked last night when I was writing this?
Yeah.
You reread it, like, this is so bad and dry. I'm like,
Perspective is a
yeah.
beautiful thing though. Like stepping back and
Yeah.
um I mean, perspective works on pretty much everything. Like when you can step away and have a minute to breathe and then relook. Yeah.
It's hard to do. Like I said, we all get caught in the moment.
Yeah.
Slowing down to step back and really observe a situation from not your original spot is very challenging for a lot of people.
Right. Yeah. No, and and trying to I think that one of the more challenging aspects of perspective is when you're trying to see someone's perspective that you don't agree with.
Oh yeah.
That can be really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
especially when it's not just a simple silly disagreement. It's something
right,
like important.
right, something big. And I mean, I don't know if there's. I don't want to use. I don't like the words right and wrong like that. But when it's a perspective that challenges like the core of your being,
Yeah.
it can be hard to even listen with an open mind. But I think the more we can do that, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about art is that it allows people to share a perspective that you may not agree with in a way that's more palatable to maybe cause like some openness to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I mean, the major shifting can definitely happen, like, and it does for people, like having kind of an aha moment or whatever, where they realize that what they've thought or believed is maybe not what they think or believe anymore. Not, I mean, that has happened to me in my life.
Same.
But at the same time, that shift doesn't happen typically in one move, and so that's, I think, what's so cool about music and art is it gives people the opportunity to present ideas that you might necessarily not agree with in a way that's like catchy or something like, and
right.
you're like, huh,
some kind of way for them to
yeah,
understand.
yeah. Or like to visual artists, it's like you're looking and processing at and seeing and feeling like emotionally and all of those things all at the same time. I think can cause neural pathways to connect or shift that wouldn't normally.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Very interesting stuff. I got one of the notes for just when I was jotting down like topics for us to talk about on the show is open-mindedness and how closed-mindedness is a defense mechanism.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like if you open yourself up, like everything I believed in was wrong, then I think a lot of people can't always handle that. And like you said, it's not like it's the shattering of a glass, although it may be for some people. It generally is a little bit more laid out, so you have a little bit more of a slower turn. And it's interesting to see when you're going like, I felt so strongly about this,
Yeah.
and the moment I finally or accepted that I need to receive someone else's perspective, like, oh, I held on to that for a different reason. Like, I don't actually care so much about what I was fighting over, and kind of like digging down through accepting of other people's like perspective will help you realize some of your own crutches that prevent you from opening up to understand everyone else, which is,
Yeah.
I think, it was interesting for me to come to the point where it was a defense thing, because I feel like a lot of people just kind of, I don't know, it's like a personality or something. It's like, oh, I didn't really think about why I
Yeah.
care so much, but you're wrong. Like, well, yeah, but you don't. Why do you care so much about your being right.
Identity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very
Because
interesting.
people, what people think and believe becomes a really strong part of who they are and their identity. And that is scary
Mm-hmm.
to, I mean, to most people, it's scary to change or to be open to things that they don't understand or think are wrong or have been taught are different because it changes something about themselves.
Yeah.
So we have like this, clinging on to our ego kind of thing. It's like, no, I'm Dan Riley and this is what I believe. And if you don't believe the same as I believe, well, then there's something wrong with you, bub.
Yeah.
And you, that's, it is definitely a challenge to step outside of that and um, to, to be open-minded. But I think when we do, I think we're more able to connect and be um, emotionally available for people.
Kind of like
This,
opens up compassion.
yeah, and empathy. Like there are, you can be open minded and not. I think that that's where it gets scary for people. Is that I think a lot of times people feel like if they open themselves up to the possibility of something different, that that's going to change who they are as a person. Then they're not going to be who they are
Mm-hmm.
anymore. Like, so they can't even entertain it because if I even think that that's a possibility, then that makes me not who I am,
Yeah.
essentially,
Right.
and so,
Yeah. Absolutely agree with that.
but that, like, with the things that I've gone through in my life, I've come to a point where I'm like, I don't really even like to use the word believe very much.
Mm.
And this is, I mean, it's kind of because I do believe things but believing means that you've closed yourself off to the possibility of something different than what you currently believe.
Interesting.
And so I think uh, that's why I don't really like to use the word believe that much, because I think I think that word is so much stronger than most people realize that it is, because when you say you believe something, that is tying it to your identity
Mm-hmm.
and who you are. And so, again, not to say that I mean, I have perceptions of the world around me and how I think things are and how I think things would be more beneficial for the majority of people. But if it turns into a belief system where it's the only thing that I can consider, then for me personally, I don't want to be closed off in that way.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, the thing, like, I believe in a couple of things. I believe in love. Like, that's the main thing I believe in. It's like, I think that we're in this experience together to help each other and to love each other and to be there for each other. And if we can't do that in this experience, then what are we, like, if something that we believe or we're doing takes away from being able to love others and be open to helping others,
Mm-hmm.
it's not really for me.
Hey, I
you know
wholeheartedly understand.
yeah. But yeah, I guess that maybe I'm a hippie or something. I don't
Whoa, you care about others. That's crazy.
know.
I don't know. I feel like it's more commonplace to, at least on the local face to face
Yeah.
front, than if you were to approach it through like the internet. I feel
Yeah.
like has the worst side of all of us. Well, from I guess most people, it depends on how you use it. But when you're on the streets, and maybe this is a South Carolina thing, I don't know. But people are way more compassionate and like
Oh yeah.
friendly, and I don't know. It's not so much of a. There is selfishness maybe when everyone's driving poorly, but like if you're going through the grocery store, I had someone like run over my foot the other day, and it was like not a big deal. I'm wearing a
Right. Yeah.
shoe; it's fine. But it
Yeah.
was a big deal to them.
Yeah.
It's really fine. I was like, it's cool. It's cool. And so I think,
give me your insurance. I'm gonna sue you for running over my foot in the
yeah, for
grocery
real.
store. Yeah.
Come on, give me your number. Call the cops. And I lost my train of thought. It wasn't your fault.
Oh, sorry.
I did that beforehand.
But no, you were just talking about how it's more common for people to be compassionate and to show each other love in person than online, essentially. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So having that belief, I think, is well placed, and I think a lot of believing in something has an element of faith in it.
Yeah.
And it's hard and I feel like in the sense that love is the most powerful or most important, it's hard to see that every day.
Yeah.
Especially with like the news and everything else that we're being distracted from. So I think that's a good one for you to stand behind. And I had never really thought about believing in something as a end all be all, but you kind of, or at least closed off. But like you have a good point, because everyone's like, well, you have to change your beliefs.
Right.
Or like they challenged my beliefs. I'm like, oh yeah, so it is like a hard stop. You're
Right.
not really open and fluid to everything that's incoming and outgoing.
Yeah.
I think
there's not really, I don't think there's another word that's really like summarizes essentially our perceived perception of how things are. Mm-hmm. And that's what a belief typically is like, it's how we perceive things are. Yeah. For whatever reason. So believe it, I don't know what word we can replace that with, but
I don't know, but I like that. I had never thought about that before. Because I say believe just thinking it's like, oh yeah, it's interchangeable with things. So
yeah.
Like, that's really actually not.
But it's funny that you mentioned how like this thing that I saw online came to mind when you were talking about how people are more tend to be more negative like in online than they are in person. So I was scrolling one day and I came across this mandolin player, and the guy had this post. It was like a video that he shot, and it was very different than any other mandolin playing you've ever seen. It was like hard rock mandolin, and he wrote this whole thing up, and he's like, I know a lot of people, especially mandolin players, are going to say that I'm doing it wrong. Like, I know that there's a lot of people who aren't going to like this. He said, but I've worked for years, and he used like effect pedals and stuff like that. Super fucking cool, in my opinion. Like, just that he went that way, took it that way. Mm-hmm. And he wrote up this whole thing. He's like, I've worked for years to perfect the sound that I like. I know this won't appeal to everybody, but it's what I personally enjoy, and I hope there are some other people out there who enjoy it. And of course, in the comments, people are
tore him apart, didn't
they? There was one guy in particular that was just like a complete jerk, and I'm like, and I usually don't comment on stuff like that, but I'm like, he said in the post, like, it doesn't matter. So why do you have to be why do you have to be negative like this? I personally think this is cool, and he thinks it's cool. So why does it matter to you if you don't like it? Just move on. Mm-hmm. And the guy's like, the guy said back to me that when you post something online, then you're asking for criticism, and you open yourself up to that. And I'm like, he literally said, please don't criticize in his post. Like, so he wasn't asking for criticism. You're just a jerk.
Yeah.
But if that guy had been playing his mandolin in a venue and like jamming out, that guy would not have walked up to him and told him that he thought it sucked.
No.
And it was like an abomination or whatever it was.
Yeah, he might have like been curious and like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
There's no way he would have been like, you are the worst.
Yeah. So,
and you're right too. Like, it clearly is laid out. I'm just looking for other people who will enjoy this.
Yeah.
If you do not fall in that line, do not comment.
Right. Yeah.
Which is like honestly just opening up, like everyone be like, oh,
yeah. Here we go. Just turn off comments, I guess, in the future.
I know.
The guy who posted it actually handled it really well. He was like, I hear you. Like, I know this is not. And I think I was probably more mad than he was, but I'm sure he's been hearing it for a long time if he came into it like that.
The wizened perspective of just like, yeah, you're just being mean for no reason. So it's no sweat off my back.
Yeah, exactly. And that's again, it's like one of those things that we get defensive of ourselves a lot of times because we think what someone is saying or doing is going to take away from who we are as a person, and it's like really not. It's just vapor, like disappears. Once it's said, it's gone.
It doesn't matter,
right? Absolutely. And if you stay around it, then it might continue. But if you set up boundaries or get away from it, then you're fine.
You're fine.
So, yeah.
Settle down there.
It actually doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know, right? It only matters because you're giving it so much focus,
right?
Mental space in their head or whatever.
Yeah.
Rent free is what they say.
Yeah. Not getting rent in my head or space. I don't know.
I think we should end it on that one.
All right. Let's try to say it better. What's a?
No, I think
you're not renting an apartment in my brain. I can do better than that.
For you. I don't know.
I'm not. My brain's not for lease.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I like that one.
All right.
It's been about an hour. I'm trying to keep it within the time frame. I just feel like it's easier to listen to.
No, for sure.
But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, man.
Hey, guys, don't forget Community Music Collective.
Yep.
Blackwater Boogie.
Yep.
Singer-Songwriter Festival. All the other stuff that you're...
Yeah, we've got like 30 events coming up this year, actually.
Bro.
Yeah,
slow yourself down. Okay, don't do
we're working with Dorchester County. We're doing helping them do some music out at Ashley River Park and some other cool stuff. So check out Community Music Collective on social media. That's where you got to do it. We cannot like it and still do it, I guess. It's fine.
That's fair. It does help, though.
Yeah.
Kind of. I don't know. Anyway, thanks
All
for watching.
See you guys around.